Hi, this is PR Frank, and today I'm going to take a look into Adobe Audition CC and show you how to edit an interview so that it is clean and succinct. This is an interview where I asked an individual a question, an essential question about how other people in the world can change you, and he answered, and then we got interrupted, and then he answered again, and then we got interrupted again. So there's a lot of audio in here that we don't need. So let's have a listen here to the beginning. There's an important thing that you should do before you even begin the interview.
All right, say and spell your name and tell me your grade level.
I'm Zach Fossen, ZACHFOSSON, and I am a sophomore.
Just to make sure that you have all the information you need about your subject, you should ask them to tell a little bit of a demographic information and spell their name. In case you have to spell it later, you won't have to email them or call them back. So here, this whole section, we asked the question, we did a pretty good job of answering the question, and then we got interrupted.
Shh. Are you talking to somebody or rap?
And so then we got back to it right around here.
All right, I'm trying to record him. All right, can you start over with the question, please?
So
right here is where I really want to start the audio recording that I got for his answer. So what I can do is I can click and drag on this whole section right here and just press delete. And now I'm just starting with the section I need.
So I think relationships change us in many ways.
All right. And I might not even want the so. One of the things you can do while you're editing is press the space bar right when you need to.
So
right there. So I hit the space bar, and right there, right in the middle of him saying is where I need to cut that off. So once again, I can just click and select, drag back, and press delete. Let's see how that sounds.
I think relationships.
There's still a little bit. One of the things you can do is you can zoom in. There's several different ways to zoom in. You can zoom in up here by using these handles. It'll zoom into the track. You can also scroll to zoom or pinch to zoom if you're on a trackpad. So right here you can see where he says, I think, but then right before that, right here you can see the sound wave where the amplitude increases right in this area. That's where he starts to say his first words. Let's have a listen. So I can get rid of everything right before this. Now the interview starts right with,
I think relationships change us in many ways. I've learned with my experiences from being across the country.
All right, so he goes on about his experiences. And then we get down.
Being who you are is based off of the others you meet. From living just to growing up, I made relationships just as associates, never really got close with anyone. And it really made me a really monotone kind of person.
All right. I think that's a fine place to end our interview. There are some things that he says later on that are really great. Unfortunately, when I tried to drill down and ask him some follow-up questions, we got interrupted again at the end. So I won't be able to use anything from the end. If I was doing that, I would edit in a completely different way using multi-track view. But here I'm just going to keep it simple. I'm going to delete all the rest of this content, making sure that I didn't cut off anything before I go further.
Kind of person.
Okay, it ends really nicely right there. There's a little bump on the end though, so let me zoom in. Let's find out where the actual end of the word person is. Okay, so this is a little bump on the end.
I think relation
that I don't need, so I can delete that. Let's hear how that sounds now. Okay, great. So let's listen to the whole thing back. Right now we've got about 22 seconds. My goal is to make it 20 seconds.
I think relationships change us in many ways. I've learned with my experiences from being across the country, living in different places, that being who you are is based off of the others you meet. From living just to growing up, I made relationships just as associates, never really got close with anyone. And it really made me a really monotone kind of person.
So what's happening here is he's saying a lot, which takes up some time, and it is possible to eliminate all the times that he says But I really want to focus on two areas here that'll save us a little time. This little gap here and this little gap here. So let's have a listen in. Let's zoom in too so we can see all the waves.
That
Let's see.
places that being her places that
Maybe we can cut out this if we start right here before it ramps up again. And let's leave a couple of those little bumps and see what happens.
places that being who you are is
See, it's a little bit too much of a hard jump. So I'm going to undo right away. And let's try to work on that, see if we can get that to sound a little bit better. One of the things you can do to reduce your selection is go to the edge of your selection and drag backward. Okay, let's delete that and see if this sounds a little bit better.
different places that being who you are.
See, that is really the issue, that is too short. So maybe what we do here is we keep a little bit of the and we cut out the space in between there. Let's hear how that sounds.
Different places that being who you are is
See, that sounds perfectly natural.
different places that being who you are is
So that's the kind of thing you're shooting for there. You're shooting for natural. When I thought I could chop out the it didn't sound so natural any longer. Okay, let's look at the other side of that where there's another long pause.
of the others you meet. From living
So here's something that we typically want to do. We want to just be like, look, I'm just going to chop out all of that. But that's going to sound a little awkward too. Have a listen.
off of the others you meet. From
See how abrupt that is? So we really do have to leave a little breathing room in here for him to have a thought or a breath. So maybe I'll take out the middle section, maybe the middle 2/3 of that. Come back.
the others you meet. From
So that's a little bit more natural. So now let's see how long our entire clip is. I can determine that by scrolling to the end. And I can see now we're down to 21 seconds. So I still really need to cut out a whole second somewhere. So let's have a listen to the whole thing and see what we might be able to sacrifice.
I think relationships change us in many ways. I've learned with my experiences from being across the country, living in different places, that being who you are is based off of the others you meet. From living just to growing up, I made relationships just as associates, never really got close with anyone. And it really made me a really monotone kind of person.
Okay. Now I'm going to go in here and try to eliminate some of these uhs. He's got a lot of them right here.
From living just to growing up, I made relationships just as associates.
Okay, so there's a couple uhs. So let's see if we can eliminate those uhs.
Growing up, I made relationships.
We might be able to go from I to made. Okay, one of the things you can do is scrub. If I grab this blue playhead, I can hear what's happening.
Growing up,
Right here is where he starts to say and then he starts to form his word there. So right here until right here, let's see if we can eliminate that and still sound natural.
growing up, I made relationships.
See, that's not bad.
Just growing up, I made relationships.
Okay, there's a little bit of a chunk right there, which I can show you how to eliminate. So we got rid of one
I made relationships just as a
Right here, there's a nice wide open space. I bet we can get rid of that without an issue.
relationships just as associates, never really got close with anyone.
All right. So let's go to the end and see what our time is now. And we've got 20 seconds and a little bit more. And we might be able to eliminate something around here. Let's see what that is.
With anyone, and it really made me a
See, it's a breath. We might be able to eliminate that breath noise there. Let's see.
one.
Sometimes when you eliminate breath noises, it sounds very awkward.
With anyone, and it really made me a really monotone kind of person.
Great. Now we're very, very close to 20 seconds. I'm pretty satisfied with that. Let's listen to the whole thing back, make sure we have what sounds good.
I think relationships change us in many ways. I've learned with my experiences from being across the country, living in different places, that being who you are is based off of the others you meet. From living just to growing up, I made relationships just as associates, never really got close with anyone. And it really made me a really monotone kind of person.
All right. That's pretty good. There's a couple of bumps in there. If we wanted to fine tune this audio, it's something you can learn at another time or at another podcast or another video tutorial. Just ask about it. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned a little bit about how to edit out the best parts of an interview and to trim it down to the length that you need.